Mark and welcome to Epicconfections. If you are new here and you want to see more epic videos, click that subscribe button and don't forget to hit that bell notification for new videos every single week. Today I'm going to be making a Boho Chic macrame cake. Let's do it! If you don't know what macrame is, ask your Mima. Yo! For this cake, I baked off 3 8-inch round white cakes and 2 6-inch round white cakes. A lot of y'all have been asking for the recipe for these cakes. They are in the description below. I'm just gonna level these out, fill them with white buttercream, stack them up. Let's do it. So I did decide I wanted to fill these cakes with a little bit of caramel sauce. So I just filled my piping bag with white buttercream and I'm just going to rim the outside of that cake. The whole point of rimming the cakes is so that the caramel doesn't flow outside of the cake when you stack it. Little buttercream on my board so it doesn't stick. A little buttercream on my board so the cake does stick. I just have some white buttercream in my cheater bag and I'm just gonna ice this. And then we're gonna be doing a watercolor drip effect. You want to put a little buttercream on the turntable so your board doesn't slide around. I'm just holding my spatula as straight as possible and I'm just turning the turntable and letting it do the work. And I'm just bringing in all that excess buttercream from the top right into the center and trying to make my edges as smooth as possible. Another fun technique for really smooth buttercream edges is stick this into the freezer for about a half an hour, 45 minutes. Take it out, then you can take a really hot kitchen knife and just use that knife and scrape off those edges. And because they're frozen, they'll come off really, really easy. That's another way to do that. See how nice that looks? It looks like fondant. The thing with working with buttercream, I love working with buttercream so much because you can achieve a fondant look with buttercream. You just have to have lots of time, patience, and really, really hot water and a spatula. So I bought this really, really cute cake stand at the Buck store. It was $4. It's adorable. Look at that color. So I'm going to actually be building the rest of my cake directly on that cake stand. This is going to be the difficult part, is putting it on. Okay, not bad. Not bad. So next is the watercolor drip effect. I want to do 3 colors. I want to do a turquoise, blue, and a pink. So I have some colors here. I have pink airbrush color, purple airbrush, green and blue. I'm going to mix the green and blue together to get a turquoise. So I just put a little bit of water in each of my 3 bowls. Just going to use a brush, dip it right into the airbrush color, and then dip it into the water. Start from the top, and just hit that with a little bit of color. And let it drip. Just let it do its own thing. Okay. That didn't work as well as I wanted it to. Gonna have to freeze this a little bit. So I just popped that into the freezer for about 20 minutes and my buttercream is nice and stiff now. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply the watercolor. And again, I just used some airbrush color and I watered it down with water. We're just gonna go for it. You may need to kind of direct the drip with where you want it to go. So I'm just kind of making like a little blob of the color. And then I'm gonna go ahead and make the drip at the bottom of that blob. So I'm gonna pop some dowels in here and then I'm gonna place it back into the freezer until it's ready for its second tier. Okay, so I'm really happy with the way this turned out. I am, however, going to go in and add a little bit more color on the bottom, and I'm going to add some color on the top. Keep some paper towel handy in case your drip is a little too intense. Just carefully dab it off. So once you're happy with your watercolor drip, next I'm going to be making the macrame to go on top of that top tier. Now, do you guys know what macrame is yet? Macrame is a form of textile that uses knots and fringe. It's fabulous. I love it. I wear my macrame nightgown to bed. No, I don't. I wear nothing. Now, I know y'all can't see my pretty face, but you can hear me. So I just have a couple small chunks of fondant, you don't need a lot, and some cornstarch. And I'm just gonna lay down a little bit of cornstarch, spread it on my table, and on my hands. If you have an extruder at home, this would be ideal for that. I don't, so I'm just gonna use the old-fashioned technique of my hands. So what you're gonna do is roll out as evenly as possible a few long strips of fondant. So you want about 2 pieces about that long to start with. So just using a little paintbrush, I'm just gonna wet one of the pieces of fondant, and then you're just gonna twist. So what you're gonna do is cut that right in half, pinch the end. If you wanna hit it with a little dab of water at the end there, make sure the water gets in between the cracks so that it does stick. This is a good way to get your excess cornstarch off anyway. So I took half of that piece of fondant and I found the front of my cake and the center of the front of my cake. And I just placed the fondant right on the buttercream. And I started to form a V shape. And I took the other piece of fondant and I did the exact same thing for the other side, and I formed a V shape. So next I just took a little piece of that fondant that I rolled, and I'm going to be making a crisscross pattern in the middle of that V. And I'm just cutting little tiny pieces of that fondant And I am sticking them in between to make a crosshatch. And that is the start of the macrame. Yay! Okay, so next I'm gonna go in with a Wilton No. 2 tip with my plain white buttercream. So what I wanna do is try to cover up all those intersections with buttercream. So I'm trying to make it look like it's been knotted, just like how you would do to a button. So next I made some royal icing. It is a pre-made royal icing in a bag. I actually love this stuff. And I filled my piping bag 3/4 of a way, and I have a grass tip. Then I pushed the royal icing out until I was happy with the length, and then I stuck the top right on the bottom of that twisted fondant. For the bottom, I started out with a really big half circle droop, and this is all freehand. And then I went in and I did the exact same fringe as we did for the top tier on the bottom. I then took a No. 2 tip and I did a small bee trim all on the top of that big droop that I did on the bottom there. And then I wanted to do some more intricate designs, so I went ahead and started freehanding a whole bunch of this stuff. And I wanted to do some drapey kind of piping. And I wasn't happy with this droop because it didn't really line up with the other one, so I just took it off. That's a good thing about royal icing, is you can actually take it off if you're not happy with it and redo it. So after about 16.5 hours of piping, this is the finished result. It probably took me about 20 minutes to pipe all of this stuff here. And I was just freehanding it, no pattern, I just kind of went with it. I went to the Buck store, because it's my favorite store. Partly because I'm cheap, secondly because you can find some good stuff there like this. So I'm just taking some floral wire, and I am just going all around the wood to kind of keep it together. Look at this is not a cake, it's Crafting with Mark. Welcome to the new show, Crafting with Mark. So I'm making a little tiny floral arrangement. Now these round floral arrangements are in. They're very in at the moment. And you can pay a lot of money at the florist for this, or you can make something fake and cheap for like $4 or $5. I'm sure your bride will be happy with that, but you can still charge her like $300. Don't tell her that. So next I'm going to take this vine thing that I found at the dollar store as well. It was $2. And I'm just going to wrap that around the entire circle and secure it with some floral wire. I think I like the show Crafting with Mark. I think it's cute. Actually, I'm going to be having a collab with a lady named Cass from Crafts and Cakes by Cass. so check her out. I'm just snipping off the little pieces that didn't get held down with the wire. So I have two little wooden dowels here. What I'm gonna do is place it on the front, and I'm just gonna place the dowel in behind it so that the circle has a nice place to sit. So here it is, guys. Here is the Boho Chic Macrame wedding cake. If you like what you saw, click the subscribe button and don't forget to hit that bell notification for new epic videos every single week. Thank you so much to Mariposa Market for sponsoring this video. Let me know in the comments below if you want to see more wedding cakes. I'd love to know. I love doing wedding cakes. We will see you all next week. Mwah!